All right, this video is going to be an installation video on how to install a Weistec blow-off valve. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have the right engine type. This modification will only work on C300s, E300s, SLC300s, and GLC300s because they all share the same engine. So first thing is, make sure that your blow-off valve, it could be Weistec, it could be anything. Honestly, whatever fits the engine, you know, if it's made for the engine, fits the engine, then it'll work. Installation is the same. Make sure you have the right screws. Make sure that your rubber seal is in there, because if you do lose pressure, it's not going to be a fun day for you and might cause check engine lights and stuff like that. Make sure you have the right size Allen key, because these screws are Allen key screws and the stock ones are Allen key screws as well. Sorry about the kids in the background. These people are out of their minds. Anyways, the second thing you're going to want to do is disconnect the air intake pipe. This comes off rather easy with these two, I guess, catch grommets or whatever you want to call them. This pops out of the little hole, you just twist and pull, and this pops out of the main air intake by just pulling. Once you set that aside, you're going to have access to the stock blow-off valve, which is right here. Now this blow-off valve is connected by 3 screws, which are these shorter screws. Basically, you're going to have to take them all out, and the first 2, which are on top, these 2, they're easy to take out, use an Allen key. But the third one, which is on the bottom, is a pain in the ass because of this pipe and this rubber tubing that's right here. You can't turn a full circle, you can't go clockwise or counterclockwise without hitting it, and it's just a pain in the ass. I would advise getting a different tool other than this because this is too thick. So basically, once you unscrew all 3 screws, I skipped that part because it was just a pain in the ass to get the third screw out, and it just took me too long. You're gonna pop this out. Make sure you don't lose anything on here on the stock blow-off valve. You're gonna take your blow-off valve, make sure you have all 3 screws there, and now we're gonna put the camera there, and we're gonna take all 3 screws out. We're gonna set them over here to the side, and we're gonna put this blow-off valve and match it up basically to the stock. So now the rubber actually just popped out, which is good because it shows you that you need to pay attention to this little rubber grommet. This rubber grommet goes right in there inside this circle. Okay, so now technically it should go something like this. It should connect rather easily like that. So we're going to try to match it up as best as possible. I think it goes like that. So we're going to try putting that down. And rubber grommet fell out again. Look at this. This installation is a little finicky, so I would just give it time, have a little patience, because this thing is a pain. A royal pain, I'll tell you that much. So now, once you figure that you have it lined up as best as possible, or, you know, there's a certain shape to this that you have to follow. So I think it's like that. I think it's like that. It could be like that, yeah. Doesn't match up perfectly, but it should. I think it's something like that. So now we're gonna put these screws in. Obviously, let's put this in first. Let's put this in, match it up as best as possible. Let's put the screws in to match it up. Now you want to just tap the screw in relatively easily. Okay, just so it holds and there's no problem. So we got the first one in. Now the second screw is going to go in as well. And if you don't see it going in right away, you might want to screw it in by hand, because again, this part is very, very hard to get in because of the close proximity of the air intake pipe and everything else. And if you don't want to install it, there you go. 2 screws in at the top. Okay, let's continue the installation. I don't know if you guys can see it like that. Perfect. So now we'll screw these in, get them as close as possible, but not tighten fully all the way, because we want to make sure that everything is set evenly all the way around. So that's just basically like a touch tight, but nothing crazy. So now we're going to turn this, keep turning it, keep turning it, keep turning it. And as you can see, as I'm turning this, I'm getting hit with the actual pipe here, and it's preventing me from going full swing, but getting there. Okay. Okay, so now that's tight. Not too tight, but tight. And now here comes the fun. Putting this third screw on the bottom there. And the bottom, I'll show you with the camera, is right there. So now I'm going to try to get in that hole. Okay. Now try to hand tighten it as best as possible. Okay. And when you can't tighten anymore, it's time to go to the tool. So I'll show you an example of how tight this area is. As I turn, I get stopped. So you kind of got to pull out and redo the turn again and again and again. And it takes about like 20 tries to do it. But as you can see, I'm turning. Okay. Also do it by hand if you can all the way, so that way you don't have to turn as much. So I'm doing it by hand, as you can see. Try not to turn as much. All in all, this thing should take about 15 minutes of your time, but mostly it's the bottom screw that takes the majority of the time because of its location. So now, let's turn. Let's keep turning. Even going in the right hole. There we go. As I tighten the bottom one, I want to tighten the top top ones. So continuation of the other video. Tightening, and then the third bottom screw. Make sure that's tight. Again, this location of this third screw is insanely difficult. Put the camera down so you guys can see a little bit better. You guys can see it. Let me see. Okay, looks like that's tight enough. Okay, now that's tight. All three screws are tight. And that's pretty much it. Now, we're gonna take this pipe. Everything just basically clicks back in. So this clicks back in. This goes right back into this little hole. So pop it in, pop that back in, and put this, pop that back in. That's in. That's in. And she's done. And the blow-off valve is working. Start the car just to see if there's any check engine lights or something you might have unplugged or anything like that. So start the car. So now see if we can hear it. Yep. So that completes the install. No check engine lights. This is an E-Class. C-Class is the same thing. S300 is the same thing. And the GLC300 is the same thing as well. So, perfect, no leaks. That's it.